Okay, students, the first week of quarter two or quarter B, we're gonna go into solving equations. So we're gonna go through addition and subtraction, multiplication, division, distributive property, multi-step equations, and all that. So we're gonna start with the basic stuff, and then we're gonna get into more in depth into the quarter. Okay. All right, so the first thing it says, an equation is a math sentence that does contain an equal sign. So if it's an equation, then it has an equal sign. The goal of solving an equation is to find the values of the variable. We do this by isolating. Isolating means just put by itself, right? So leave by itself the variable on one side of the equation using inverse operations. Inverse operations undo each other. So the inverse of addition, that is subtraction. The inverse of subtraction is addition. The inverse of multiplication is division. And the inverse of division is multiplication. So they undo each other. So if you have to subtract to undo the operation. If you multiply, you have to divide to undo the operation. So they're opposites of each other. So let's see how that's going to come into useful. In the first example, it says John has X apples. If he adds 5 apples to his pile, he will have 8 apples. All right, so what is the value of X? So that's X plus 5 equal. Then notice how they subtract. So by subtracting, you undo the operation. If you subtract on one side, you have to do it on the other side. And that's what happens. X equals 3. That's how you solve that equation. In this equation, it says Maddie has X dollars after spending $90 on a purse. So you're going to be subtracting. She will have 45. So that's the total. So you add 90 on both sides because it's subtracting, and then that's your difference over there. All right, so let's practice. So it says, so here, because it's adding, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So that's minus 2, minus 2. Now, 2 minus 2 is 0, and then 10 minus 2 is 8. So your answer is X equals 8. Okay, and how do I check? Well, they say to check. Okay, so then 8 plus 2 equals 10. Is that true? Yes. That's how you check, by replacing X where you had X. Okay, so now you have minus 8. So the opposite of minus 8, that's plus 8. And then whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you do it on the other side. So that's 0 here. And then 15 plus 8 is 23. How do you check? Well, 23 minus 8 equals 15. Is that true? Yes. Then you have minus 9 here, right, to undo the operation. And then that is 0, and 2 minus 9 is negative 7. So is that true? Negative 7 plus 9 equals 2. Yes, it is true. And that's how we work it out. Let's do some work now. Let's do some examples here. So it says, solving one-step equations, addition and subtraction, show your work, check your answer. Okay, let's just do some. So you're adding 6, so the opposite is subtracting. So negative 6 minus 6 minus 6 on both sides. That goes away because it's 0, and then y equals 20 minus 6 is 14. Is that true? Well, 14 plus 6, is that 20? Yes, it is. Okay. So then plus 10, right? Because that's the opposite. It's adding. So that goes away because they're opposites. So that's x equals, and then that plus that, that's 22. I'm just not going to check them. All right, so let's just keep going. So that's negative, so that's 12. That's positive 12. So to get rid of this one on this side, I'm going to subtract 12 from this side. And then subtract it from the other side too. 12 minus 12 is 0, and we're left with that z by itself. And that's what you want, to leave the z by itself, to leave the variable by itself. 15 minus 12, that is 3. Now, is that true? 12 plus 3, is that 15? Yes, it is. All right, let's do another one here. So that's, let's do this one. All right, so 10 plus c, that's positive, so I'm going to take it out by subtracting, doing the opposite. So minus 10 on both sides. 10 minus 10 is 0, and you're left with that c by itself, which that's what you want. And then 25 minus 10, that is 15. And you are done. Okay, so let's do one like this one. So minus 14 on this side, because that's adding, so the opposite is subtracting. That goes away, and then w equals 4. So is that true? 4 plus 14, is that 18? Yes, it is. So how about if you have one that looks like, I don't know, 2 equals w plus 7. Well, same thing. Remember, you got to get rid of the ones on the side where the variable is. So I'm going to subtract negative 7 here. So subtract 7 on both sides. Get rid of this one. And then you have w equals 2 minus 7. That is negative 5. And that is your answer. So it's the same thing. It's just reversed, like the equal sign is on the other side. So we have 3 equals, I don't know, x plus 2. Well, same thing here. Minus 2, it's the opposite. Minus 2. That goes away on this side, and then x equals 3 minus 2 is 1. And that's my answer. All right, so I hope this helps.